Of rent in D.C. is something that we often talk about. And now it turns out the city agrees with that sentiment. A new lawsuit finds that some D.C. landlords have broken the rules, scheming to intentionally overcharge you, and change could be coming. William C. Smith, a property management company in D.C., was found guilty of upcharging more than 50,000 local renters. The company now has to pay $1 million to settle the lawsuit. Joining us now to talk more about the lawsuit is D.C.'s Attorney General Brian Schwab. Attorney General, good to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You're really touching on a nerve here, right, for so many people. You were quoted saying rents in D.C. are already sky high, and amidst this housing affordability crisis, many of the district's top landlords operated as a housing cartel, illegally colluding to push rents even higher. What does this lawsuit do to address that?
Well, as everybody who lives in the district knows, that the price of housing is a big challenge for all DC residents. And we're in the midst of an affordability crisis here in our city. Too many people pay too many dollars to pay rent. And we learned in the course of our investigation that 14 large landlords here in the district entered into agreements with a tech company called RealPage to collude, to share non-public information with one another to raise those rents even higher than they already were. And that's why we brought a lawsuit against those 15 defendants under our antitrust laws. And I commend W.C. Smith for being the first of the defendants to enter into an agreement with the city and to enter into a settlement that's going to pay money in exchange for a release of the claims against the company.
I'm curious here, so you touched on this, I wanted to go back to it. Part of the issue here in this lawsuit is a revenue management software that these companies are using. Basically, it sets and determines rent based off of a number of different criteria, but you found that the rent was inflated. For viewers watching, how much roughly was it inflated by?
Well, according to the promotional materials that RealPage used to try to sell these landlords into using its revenue management software, it promised to raise rents between 2% and 7% above what these landlords would otherwise be receiving. And given how expensive housing is already in the district for DC residents, those additional 2% to 7% increases are unacceptable, immoral, and according to our laws in the District of Columbia, illegal.
We think of how many people are just trying to survive. I've got to ask you, what is the real life implication of this $1 million payout? Can people expect a rent decrease? Will they get a check? How will this work for people watching going, hey, do I benefit somehow from this?
We're going to continue to aggressively pursue our claims against the other landlords and RealPage that are defendants in this lawsuit. We're going to recover to the maximum extent we can for the district residents and the district that's been harmed by this anti-competitive practice. And after we have finished that effort of recovering monies, we will establish a claims process where tenants who are living in the buildings that are using this collusive products will have a chance to seek compensation.
Well, I can imagine people watching this interview feeling a lot of outrage, a lot of different emotions going on. This is just the tip of the iceberg. DC Attorney General Brian Schwab, certainly appreciate your time today. Thank you.